The power of styling when you want to achieve good style is so ridiculously obvious yet underrated. I used to be obsessed with what I could buy for my wardrobe to improve my style. How can I curate my wardrobe? What can I add to my wardrobe or take away to achieve good style? And I was honestly neglecting the most important part, styling. The reason I was ignoring styling was that it sounded a bit complicated and unapproachable, especially for my simple everyday outfits. But honestly, once you know different styling principles, it makes putting together an outfit so much easier. And not only that, the outfits you create with your clothes are actually going to be so much better and more creative. I want to share with you my favorite styling principles in this video, and they're simple yet effective ways to level up an outfit. So let's get started. A style principle that I use every single day is to mix heavy and light together in every outfit. You can kind of think of this as visual weight and focusing on how much visual weight items hold. If you think about clothes on a spectrum, on one side you have your lighter fabrics, your lighter colors, your lace, your embroidery, and the sheerer things. And then on the other side, you've got your crisp cotton poplin shirts, you've got your structured black trousers, you've got the heavier items like coats and jackets that usually have more visual weight. Everything falls on this spectrum, and I love it when there is good contrast in an outfit. The best way to show this is through this outfit. I love the leather jacket, something heavier, with the lighter skirt. And then the skirt has a ruffle as well. And this kind of contrast styling I find so chic. Even this delicate lace with the heavier black color and textures looks incredible because there's such a contrast between the two. This particular styling principle I especially love in transitional seasons. Everything in the winter tends to lean a little bit heavier. Everything in the summer tends to lean a bit lighter, but in that transitional season, we can really utilize this principle to create the most interesting outfits. So here's how you can use this one. Light versus heavy usually depends on color, silhouette, or fabric. And when you feel an outfit is a little bit boring because everything is the same, then you just basically need to change either the color, the fabric, or the silhouette of a piece. If I'm wearing all black, an easy way is to bring in a lighter color as a bit of contrast. The lighter color creates lightness, delicateness in the outfit. You can change the fabric, so instead of going for all opaque pieces, if one of the pieces was slightly lighter, doesn't have to be see-through, but slightly lighter, it will do wonders in creating that delicate feeling in that look. If everything is a unique silhouette, very sculptural, maybe oversized, then just use one piece that is a little bit slimmer and you have more contrast. A styling thing that I like to incorporate into all of my outfits is one item that looks natural or imperfect or handcrafted. Think about it like this. Certain outfits are really polished and they feel almost new and straight off a magazine or catalog or something like that. It's almost too perfect. Whereas I think that there is a focus, and maybe it's a trend as well, of handcrafted items. We can think of this in the summer as raffia and straw bags. We can think of this in the winter as knitted items, wool that has that imperfect texture at times. We can think about it in linen, in jewelry, for example, pearls, anything that has this irregular, natural, handmade feeling. The kind of styling that uses one of these elements in an outfit just gives the outfit so much more character, and it just has the feeling of better style because it doesn't look like you bought everything new and you're just wearing it, but that you have a unique wardrobe with kind of pieces that are more curated. I've seen a lot of photos of like Hermes bags being like really well loved. And it doesn't have to be Hermes, but just like a well loved vintage item or vintage bag, I think would fit into this styling idea really well also. This styling idea, I feel like comes out of a reaction to fast fashion, possibly, that clothes are often worn only a few times, things look kind of new, especially like online on influencers. So certain people with certain style will crave the opposite, where things feel a little bit more worn in, things feel a little bit higher quality, made to last, irregular, natural, and it's a different kind of beauty. So here's how you can add this to your styling. I like to make sure that one item I'm wearing falls into this category. Of course, it can be something like a pearl piece of jewelry, it can be straw hats, a straw bag, and you're good to go. It can also take the form of linen, cottons that are very gauzy, and is meant to have this slightly wrinkled effect. You don't have to go out in like clothes that were like rolled up into a ball, but like slightly natural looking materials in certain styles can look very, very beautiful and natural. It can of course just take the form of vintage pieces like this blouse, which is vintage and absolutely stunning on her. For myself, this often takes the form of a hand knit sweater, or a hand knit scarf. If you are starting knitting, I've gotten a lot of questions. I promise you, you will be knitting sweaters in no time, and it's really not as hard as it sounds. I would 100% recommend it because even like a cute knitted scarf you've made would be perfect for this tip. And of course, well-worn, well-loved leather accessories. Have one of these pieces in an outfit and it will add so much character to that look. There is a styling principle I always use, and that's shorter accessories around the face that help bring the attention to the person wearing the clothes. And if you're a short girl, it helps you look a little more balanced and possibly a little taller. Let me explain this. If you're wearing a trapeze style dress and you're a more petite person, like on me, what happens is that the visual weight is at the bottom and it's kind of dragging me down, and you don't really focus on my face or me as much as you do the dress and the shape of the dress and the volume. When you wear a dress like this one with the contrast ruffle, it really frames the face and bring the attention upwards. So firstly, it makes the length easier to wear if I was wearing this dress. And secondly, it frames the person who's wearing it. So obviously we don't all have to wear dresses with a contrast ruffle, but you can achieve this through your accessorizing. Necklaces, scarves, headbands, bandanas, claw clips that like tie your hair upwards. These are all things that kind of bring attention to the face and centers the outfit around you. I really love accessorizing this way because it almost creates a nice little frame around you that really accentuates you. The second thing is that if I'm wearing shorter accessories, shorter necklaces, headbands, shorter shoulder bags, it has the ability to balance out anything longer I'm wearing, and it also makes me feel taller, more balanced, because you're kind of looking upwards rather than the visual weight being at the bottom dragging us down. So instead of lots of really long necklaces that drag the eye downwards, I like shorter necklaces. Instead of bag straps that are way too long, I always have my bag straps shortened so they sit a bit higher, emphasizing kind of higher in the body. If I'm wearing long outfits, I like to do an updo or like a half up, half down hairstyle, or even just like add a headband, because I think this rebalances the look. Especially if I'm wearing like a very full skirt or even like a trapeze style dress, there must be accessories on the top half, otherwise I am drowning in that outfit. This one I can't explain as well as I want to, but hopefully you can see what I mean through the styling. Let's talk about something really simple, but it makes a big difference, and that is contrast levels. The right contrast level in an outfit makes that outfit suit you really well. And that's kind of what I try to do in clothes. I think clothes should highlight the person wearing it, not the other way around. And it's kind of like this. Whatever contrast you have, low, medium, high, you want to mimic in your clothes. Something you can do to figure out your contrast levels if you're not too sure is to also take a photo of yourself in good, accurate lighting, and then turn that photo into a black and white photo, and you'll be able to see just how much black and white there is, or if everything is a bit closer together. You'll kind of be able to tell if you're low, medium, high. If I'm wearing an outfit and I'm in beige and neutral medium tones, that has a tendency to look quite bad on me because they're all quite close to my skin tone, and if I'm wearing it from head to toe, then the contrast is really low against my skin tone and against each other. These are usually my worst outfits because I get so lost in them and they wash me out, and it honestly just feels very lifeless. If I wear an outfit, it's all white, it's all black, it's okay because black and white both have a decent amount of contrast against my skin tone and against my features. My best outfit is usually when there is something very dark and something very light to mimic my contrast. Not quite black and white, but maybe like an off-white cream with a very dark shade. And these tend to be the best outfits on me. Even when I was wearing this navy set with the navy skirt, I loved having that black and white bag in the outfit because it just created a nice contrast that made me feel like the outfit suited me a lot more. So the reason I feel like this is important for us is that it helps us understand why certain combinations work really well on us and why certain combinations maybe feel slightly off. When we know the reason behind why things work and don't work, that's when we can feel more confident in styling because we start to know what to do rather than guessing. When an outfit feels good on, it looks good on, you don't need to think about optimizing it for your ideal contrast, there's no point. It's when you don't love an outfit, something feels a bit off, you can use this one to help fix that outfit to turn it into something you love. Something I used to overlook is pattern in clothing and how I can use this to make it look more interesting. So let's have a look at patterns as well as prints. So you've got literal prints where it's like a polka dot or like a printed graphic t-shirt, but then sometimes you also have patterns in clothing. For example, patterns of knitwear, patterns in lace work. And what I find really chic and inspiring in styling is when different patterns and prints come together. This is something a little bit underrated because sometimes it can feel like we just need one print, one pattern in the outfit, but I think when the mood is right, when you like maybe a little bit more maximalism, it can be really fun for these patterns and prints to come together. I really love how it's done here, where we've got the pattern of the broidery and lace detailing, we've got the print of the gingham, we've got the print of the tote bag, and these combine beautifully for a summer outfit. In the spring and summer, sometimes it's harder to layer those cozier textures as the weather gets warmer, so you can create a more layered look by layering up your prints and your patterns. Sometimes in our wardrobe, we have these no-go zones where we feel like because this is printed, we don't want to mix it with that pattern, but sometimes it can pair beautifully together. Even in knitwear, a lot of knitwear is made up of different patterns. So especially in knitwear, you can mix it with a print. It's creating a lot of depth in an outfit that I find visually very interesting. I am someone who has very simple style, but I also like a little bit of maximalism when it comes to layering things and layering details that we don't normally think should go together. And then in actual print mixing, sometimes if a top has like a really small gingham, a really small plaid, it's really subtle, then I love mixing that with like a bigger pattern for some nice contrast or maybe a floral, and these can create some of the most unique combinations in a wardrobe. This next styling principle is something I've been doing recently that's different to my old style. It's either going bold or really paring back. And the best way to show it is through like these photos where in this outfit, she's only wearing key pieces. Like everything has some detail to it, everything is kind of unique. And then we've also got this outfit where everything is so pared back. I used to combine these two a lot. So if I had a statement blouse, I would pair it with really simple things to tone it down. And then if I had really simple things, I would pair it with something a bit more elevated to dress it up. This is still, I think, a valid approach depending on the pieces, the situation, the details. But there is a beauty that is lost when I do that. A very simple, sleek item, when you pair it with more detailed items, that paired back simplicity gets lost. I think the different approach here is that when we lean into a look, when we lean into all key pieces or all simple pieces, the outfit tends to come together more naturally. So when we look at the outfit, we see it as a whole. When we take one statement piece and pair it with a really simple piece, we kind of just look at the key piece and not at the whole outfit. So this is something I've been thinking about in like styling when I look at photos. I think it's quite a powerful one to slightly change my approach to styling. This is a creator I follow on Instagram. She's based in Sydney, so I especially love her stuff. Her outfit combinations are fabulous and they're maximalist, but there is also this harmony in everything where it just fits together. Despite it not looking like it will fit together, it does. And then of course with icons like Brittany Bathgate, that pared backness is what makes her style so distinct and so unique. That focus on like sculptural silhouettes, very like architectural, is all about paring back on the details. For this tip, I'm not saying that I'm going to suddenly create some very minimalist looks because, that's not my style. But rather, I'm gonna take the simple pieces in my wardrobe, like simple and feminine, and I'm sometimes just going to keep it simple rather than dress it up too much. And then with the pieces I own that are more playful, I'm gonna try and mix them together a bit more as opposed to always toning it down. This is more about how I combine things within my personal style. I love any outfit that has one unexpected element, but the best is when that one unexpected element ties to something you're loving at the moment. This is something that makes fashion fun. Sometimes fashion is like, oh, you know, does this go with this? Does this go with this? But ultimately, I love outfits that have that like fun thing that just makes me happy. I'm not necessarily dressing to impress as I am just dressing to like boost my own mood. So I love that one fun, unexpected element in an outfit. And the beauty of this one is that there is so much room to play. So either it can be a contrasting element that is just unique and interesting. So for example, mixing like sweatshirt with this lacy bottom and then a straw bag. These are kind of slightly contrasting pieces. It's a little unexpected in the styling. This more masculine jacket and boot with the more elegant dress. I think the dress kind of stands out as that unexpected piece, contrasting the others. I love this masculine feminine kind of styling so much. Some people love her, some people don't, but I feel like Alexa Chung is the queen of this. Without the pink scarf, this could have been anyone's outfit at like Fashion Week or at like a fashion thing. But with the pink scarf, you can feel her whimsical, playful style come out. These examples I love, but even just for every day, it doesn't have to be so complicated. I love adding a sporty piece to a feminine outfit. Sometimes I love like something cozy with something sleek. So sweater, cardigan, hand knit, cozy with like a nicer bias skirt. Or a very pared back color palette with a bright, fun pop of color. That's also a favorite. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed it, I made a similar video last week with more of a personal style focus. You'll find me on Instagram, you'll find me on Substack, Pinterest, and I will see you next week. Bye.